Welcome back, everybody. This week, we're going to be looking at the seventh-day Cornerstone connection lesson.
Okay,
And
sounds good.
It's a pretty intense one. I think you'll agree.
Yeah.
We're heading into Nehemiah chapter 5,
Right.
where we see some really, really interesting stuff happening.
Oh, yeah.
We see financial schemes, angry prophets, even a robe shakedown.
Wow.
It's all there.
That's a lot.
All in the name of social justice and mercy.
Interesting. So
So this is an ancient story set in ancient Israel, but it still has relevance today.
yeah, for sure. I mean, just to set the scene a little bit,
Yeah.
the Israelites have just returned from exile and they're rebuilding Jerusalem's walls. But as we dig into the lesson, we see that they're facing some pretty serious economic hardship.
Yeah. And I think the lesson makes it clear that it's not just hardship, it's that some folks are exploiting the situation.
Oh, totally.
Taking advantage of their own people.
Yeah.
We're talking exorbitant interest rates.
It's bad.
People being forced into debt, slavery.
Yeah.
It's a bleak picture.
It is bleak. And that's where our main man, Nehemiah, comes in.
He comes in strong.
Oh, he's not happy.
Yeah.
He is.
He's righteously indignant.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so this injustice, this is not just annoying him a little bit.
Yeah.
He's straight up furious.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the lesson portrays this anger, not as blind rage, but it's rooted in a deep understanding of God's law.
Yeah, and a law that it seems like a lot of people have forgotten about.
Sadly, yeah.
So you're talking about those laws that we see in Deuteronomy and Exodus.
Yes.
The ones that are specifically designed to protect
the poor and vulnerable.
The poor and vulnerable. Forgiving debts every 7 years, leaving the edges of fields unharvested.
Yeah, the gleaning laws, those were so important.
These laws were supposed to be like the bedrock of their society. It was a tangible expression of their covenant with God.
It's like somewhere along the way, those laws got lost in the shuffle.
It does seem that way.
And what really strikes me is how Nehemiah doesn't just point fingers at those who are doing wrong.
Yeah.
He constantly uses we, our, and us.
Yeah.
It's like he's saying, hey, this isn't just their problem. This is all of our problem.
We're in this together.
Yeah, we're in this together.
He's calling for collective action.
It's a powerful reminder.
It is.
That true faith isn't just about personal piety.
It's about how we treat the most vulnerable among us.
This whole situation has me thinking.
Okay.
Does faith have anything to say about how we structure our society? Because I feel like we often separate spiritual matters from social issues.
Yeah.
But this lesson seems to be
I think that's right.
blurring those lines.
I think the lesson definitely challenges us to see those aspects as interconnected. You can't have genuine faith without a commitment to justice and mercy.
Yeah.
And what happens next is truly remarkable. Nehemiah confronts the wealthy leaders directly and leads them to a public oath of repentance. And they agree to return property and stop exploiting the poor.
Wow, can you imagine
It's remarkable.
that happening today?
Yeah.
Powerful people admitting their wrongdoing and actually taking steps to make things right.
It's not just lip service.
No.
It's real, tangible action.
It's inspiring to see that
It is.
conviction can lead to such a dramatic turnaround.
Yeah, it's powerful.
But this idea of repentance and restoration makes me think about something else the lesson touches on. This Christian concept of redemption through Christ.
A powerful parallel indeed.
Yeah. How so?
Well, the lesson talks about how we were all, in a sense, debtors to divine justice because of our shortcomings.
I'm not sure I follow you.
It's a complex theological concept.
Okay.
But think of it like this.
Yeah.
We fall short of God's ideal.
Correct.
And there's a debt we can't pay on our own.
Okay.
Like, imagine you borrowed a huge sum of money from a friend and had no way to repay it.
Yeah, you'd be in debt.
Right. And the weight of that debt would hang over you.
Totally.
In a similar way.
Okay.
We have a spiritual debt because of our imperfections.
Okay.
And we can't erase those on our own.
So where does Christ fit into all of this?
That's where the beauty of redemption comes in.
Okay.
Christ, through his sacrifice, bridges that gap.
Okay.
He takes on the weight of our debt.
Wow.
Offering us forgiveness and a fresh start.
Okay.
It's like he steps in and says, I'll pay your debt, you're free.
So it's like a spiritual echo.
Exactly.
Of what Nehemiah was doing for his people.
Yeah, buying them back from their physical debt.
Wow, that puts a whole new perspective on things.
It's a powerful message
Yeah.
of hope and restoration.
So if we connect this back to the bigger picture, our lives today, what kinds of debt slavery might still be lurking around?
That's a great question.
I mean, we don't have people literally selling themselves into servitude anymore, right?
Right, but the lesson prompts us to consider some modern-day parallels.
Okay.
So think about situations where people are trapped in cycles of disadvantage, weighed down by systems that make it nearly impossible to break free.
Like those payday loan places.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah, where they charge outrageous interest rates.
Yeah, trapping people in a cycle of debt
that they can never escape.
They can never escape.
It's like a modern form of debt slavery.
It is.
Where people are held captive by these systems that perpetuate inequality.
That's right.
It's unsettling to think that even after experiencing God's deliverance from exile, the Israelites could fall back into these patterns of exploitation so easily.
It's a sobering reminder.
It is.
That we're all susceptible to these tendencies. Regardless of our background or beliefs.
So progress isn't always linear?
It's a constant battle. Against those forces that seek to exploit and divide.
And that's why this lesson from Nehemiah is so relevant.
Yes.
Even thousands of years later.
It reminds us that we can't just sit back and assume things will get better on their own.
No, we have to be vigilant.
We do.
Constantly questioning the systems we're a part of.
Absolutely.
And making sure that we're not perpetuating any form of this debt slavery.
It's about asking ourselves some tough questions.
What are we really doing to help?
Are we living out our faith in a way that promotes genuine freedom and opportunity for everyone?
Are we actively working to dismantle these systems that keep people trapped in these cycles of disadvantage?
It's a lot to grapple with.
It is.
But I think that's the beauty of this lesson. It's not about giving us easy answers. It's about pushing us to think critically, to be more intentional about how we live out our faith in a world where debt slavery still exists.
In so many forms. There's this one quote from the lesson that really got to me.
Okay.
It says, "He who truly fears God would rather toil day and night and eat the bread of poverty than to indulge the passion for gain that oppresses the widow and the fatherless." Or turns the stranger from his right.
Powerful words.
It's like a gut check.
It really is.
It's like, you know, what are we really doing here?
It highlights the true essence of faith. You know, it's not just about outward rituals or personal gain. It's about aligning your actions with God's heart for justice and compassion.
So much of this story has me thinking about how we live out our faith.
Absolutely.
How we treat others. What are we supposed to take away from all of this?
Well, if you think about the main takeaway from the seventh-day Cornerstone connection lesson, it's that even when you're focused on rebuilding and progress, it's easy to forget those core values of justice and compassion.
It's so easy to get caught up in your own little world.
It is.
And forget that. Just because I might be doing okay doesn't mean everyone else is.
And this lesson pushes us to really look around and see the struggles of others.
And not just see them, but actively work to alleviate them.
It challenges us to examine our own actions, to ask ourselves,
are we really?
Are we truly living out our faith in a way that brings freedom and opportunity
to those around us.
To those around us.
Maybe even more important. To look at the systems that we're a part of.
Yes. Are there systems in place?
That are actually making it harder for people to get ahead.
That are perpetuating disadvantage.
That's a hard question.
It is a heavy question.
To consider.
But I think that's the beauty of this lesson. It's not about giving us easy answers. It's about pushing us to think critically.
To be more intentional.
To be more intentional about how we live out our faith in a world where debt slavery still exists.
It's so many forms.
It really makes you think.
If the Israelites...
Right from experiencing God's deliverance.
Could forget his laws and fall back into these patterns.
How vigilant do we need to be?
It's easy to get complacent.
It is, but the lesson offers us not just a challenge, but also an invitation.
An invitation to?
An invitation to be agents of change.
To fight for justice.
To fight for justice.
To embody God's compassion for those who are struggling.
That's well said.
It's a reminder We all have a role to play.
We do.
In creating a more just and equitable world.
And that our faith should be a driving force in that effort.
Well, it looks like we've reached the end of our dive into the Seventh-day Cornerstone Connection lesson.
Been a good one.
Until next time. Keep seeking truth. Keep asking those tough questions.
Yes.
And keep striving to make the world a better place.
Absolutely.
One act of justice and compassion at a time.